Okay, this says a couple off stream. Listen, machine work okay. Sorry about that, but I didn't have a I have to edit this, so I guess I have to back and update it so that I know the same thing as what I just tried to do, but it failed for some reason. See if this one lasts longer. We pray and hope. This is Rick Koppel, from Denver, Colorado, with another episode of Fly With Me. Basically, I'm a flight simulator pilot, but not a real pilot by any means. Stretch imagination. Sometimes I act like I'm a pilot, that kind of thing, but I'm really not. So, yeah. So don't take anything I say with a grain of salt. That kind of disqualification. Because sometimes I'll say things and maybe I don't fully know the difference, but I'm learning things as I go along, basically. But basically what I learned is by watching videos, which some of are pretty good, some of them aren't. So sometimes I get false information, sometimes I get accurate information. So what I know and try to help out. So like for instance, in previous videos, I didn't use approaches that much, or departures actually. And I still don't use departures, but I've gotten where I can do approaches decently well now. So you'll see that in this video, where I have an approach scheduled for Tijuana. So yeah, so we're gonna fly into it, and you'll see my approaches. And I'll be what I have to do in the King Air to have the autopilot follow along and go on approaches like I'm supposed to. So yeah, exciting, thrilling, absolutely wonderful stuff, right? Yeah. So well, I seem to be so far so good on that. I think I must have did that by doing something weird on the thing, but better rates seem to be good, and so we'll continue on. Hope that we don't have any problems. So, with that said, we will get started on our flight. Everybody wants to go on flights, right? Yeah. Yeah, I've always enjoyed doing not airline flights, but I've always enjoyed doing flight simulator flights. I don't know why, it just floats my boat, I guess. So hopefully it floats yours too. Alright, so let's get started on this. Okie dokie. I'm going to move this over to here. Now I have my map. Oops. We have to go over here before I do that. Yeah, I lowered it. Okay, that's good. I don't know if I lowered it so that it showed the map. So here's the map. So far what I've done is I'm going to go around all North America. So far I took off from, what do you call it? Brownsville, Texas. And I've gone around Mexico, basically, for the most part. I'm not going to go all the way around Mexico because I'm not going to cut off and go that way. I'm going around North America. So I'm going to go all the way up the California coast and all the way up east coast of the United States, east coast of Canada, into Alaska, north coast of Canada, and down on the east coast until we come back finally to Brownsville, where it started out at. So we'll enjoy that fun. So we have a short trip for you today. Basically, it's about this little section through here. We're in San Felipe, Baja California, Mexico. So we're right there. You see my little airplane here right there. And we had this little short trip from there to there. And there's also a lot of mountains apparently in the in the mix on this, so we'll have some mountains to go over here to look at on the way. Pretty much all the way there, it looks like. So, yeah, we'll have fun, I hope. So, we'll get started on this and get this plugged into our flight plan over here and get going, huh? So, we are in King Air. I'll show you what we're flying here so you can see what we're looking at. And there she is. That's the Beechcraft King Air C90 or 09, I can't remember. 90B. What it is. Yeah, we'll fly that. You can see it has all these more ancient looking controls compared to current things, but it's adequate. It makes I don't know, get true. That's why I have a map on there. I use a map to tell how high I need to go to get over everything in the path. But anyway, we'll go ahead and go down here. Now, this part you can do while it's on pause, so I'm going to do that here. And I like this over here. And flight planner. Our flight plan. Push that. Click that down. Then we go MM, which is Mexico's regional code, MM. Everything starts with MM in Mexico. Again. M. Let me pass that here for me. Now the code for Tijuana's airport is TJ. TJ. There you go. Mexico. That's the name of the airport actually there. Tijuana has a different name of airport than the city. It's not Tijuana Air International, nothing like that. So we want to set that. Accept that. Now we want to do procedures. I'm going to select our approach. So we'll send that in. Now we're going to be landing runway 27. We have to do the 1 there. That's what I've got it set on the flight plan on the map. So I want to kind of match them up as close as possible. Sometimes they match up better than other times on this thing. So we're going to save that, and we're going to go to vector CF27. Okay. Enter that. There we got that set. Load, yes. Now it's all loaded. Now we want to wait till we take off before we actually activate the plan and the path, because once you're in the air, the other path will be there. But once you're in the air, before you're in the air, actually, it's this is the beginning and the ending. So then if you go to this, you just go directly to that, and you'll lose this whole path that you have here. Yeah. So we want to do that. And then the other thing you have to do on here is you got to push this to CDI so you have GPS on there, right there, as opposed to V-lock. It's a different kind of navigational tool. So that's GPS. What we're doing there. That's what we got there. And then we go here. Flight plan. See right now it's going. We're going from Mexico San Felipe to Mexico's Tijuana airport. And then we'll activate the approach once we get in the air and go on that way. Alrighty. So we got that. So that's all set in there. Now what we want to do as well, you notice up here I have some I did some things. I need to put this 8,000 right there, and I have it scheduled on my keyboard to go up by increments. But so it's 8,000. I think is what I said on that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 8,000 feet. It's got to be at least 7,000 feet to hit minimums on that. So, yeah. I always give a little buffer room there just in case I am a little slightly off course or something and I have a thing like that. Now, I'm going to go down here now on the King Air. Whoops. You're down this way. Always double check this when I go here and make sure this is at 0. It is, so that's good. There's been times where I've had problems with that. Anyway, the autopilot controls are down here. And this, so to activate it, you have to turn on flight director. Then hit navigate, which will activate. It'll follow GPS on that. How come it's not doing it? Should be a little nav thing put here. Oh, I'm on pause, that's right. There you go. That's right. You have to take it off pause, otherwise you can't do anything on here. So I've got that. And then this is altitude selects altitude you're going to go to, and VS is the not volume, the how many feet per minute you go up and down, basic. So I have it set up over here. Right now it's set 0 VV, and I go up about 1,000 feet per minute. That seems to be about ideal for glide slope for this thing I've learned over a period of time. So that sets that, and that's all set. So I'm going to go back up here to Y, to the window, and we're ready to roll, I think. So we're ready to taxi, so we'll go around here. We hit the taxi light on. That's that one right there. And we're ready to roll. Now here's where you'd be on radio hammer, tax, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But like I say, I don't really do all that stuff because it's too complicated for me, and it gets me in too much hot water with the controllers here when I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, and stuff like that. So I just do what I want, pretty much. And most pilots would be able to get away with that. Don't do. So anyway, we got that. You can also see the fuel level down here. These are fuel tanks, right and left, and it's got about 6 to 8, somewhere between 6 and 8,000 pounds in them, each one. So that's good. It might be enough for our flight since we. If you come over here, you can see we have 147 miles distance to go. And it takes about around 30 to 40 minutes to get there, I think, based on this thing. So we're ready to taxi out to there. Now I think this is if the wind's going this way, so we want to take off that way. So let's zoom in on this and see what we got. Where we are on the taxiways here. Okay, so you can see they just have one thing, so I gotta go out here and I gotta run along the runway for a ways until I get to till I get set on the other end of the runway. So taxi is pretty simple here. You have this one lane, go out and taxi on the runway. See, when I landed, the time I came through here and turned around and came back this way and went in. But I didn't think to get stopped fast enough to get into this before I was slowed down enough to stop. So that's where we need to go. Okay. Let's do that then. Alright, now I have all these controls on my joystick here, which I've rigged up for this. It's a Microsoft Sidewinder type thing. So, yeah, so I'm going to take off the brake and then it'll start moving right as soon as I take off the brake. We're going to move over to I try to maintain certain lines as much as I possibly can, but I really don't see a pilot. You'd stop and you look and you double check, make sure nobody's coming that way. There's only one time where I had a Piper Cub come at me. It was landing when I was trying to get on the runway. Alright. So, pause here. Some things I do and some things I don't, basically. Okay, we're here. And this is where you'd wait for clearance to get on the runway, that kind of thing. And you have permission to taxi, but you don't have permission clearance to take off yet. So you have to call radio and get permission to clearance to take off. So I don't want to do that, so we'll just skip that part. So yeah, we'll go ahead and switch our taxi glide be off. I don't know if you have to turn the taxi light off when you take off, but the landing lights will be on. Sometimes it's hard to get these things right there where you want to do it. So our landing lights are now on, which is what you use when you take off and you land. Don't ask me why they call them landing lights when they're takeoff lights too, but anytime you're in the airport, they see the lights taken off. So, yeah, and then another thing we got to do here is we got to put into flaps. And you know what so you can see them go, and I'll put them on here. So you see flaps going down there, given that's takeoff land, gauges, that kind of thing. So now we're set to go, I think, pretty much. As far as I know. And there's other things you probably got to do, little tidbit thing, like put it on igniters and stuff like that. I don't worry about those things, I just take off. So we'll get position on the runway and we'll take off, alright? Here we are, runway 13 in San Felipe, Mexico, in Baja, California. So we'll just take off now. So now you notice these gauges over here. This is the one I watch when I take off. It indicates how much power putting its turbines, basically. But it indicates how much power I'm putting into it. And I try to get it to where it lands about right around here. Sometimes overshoot it because that's the maximum amount you're supposed to have as one shot. The red line, I think. I don't know if that for sure, but I just play it safe. It gives me plenty of power when I go there. So I'll take off here and we'll go And we'll fly down the runway here. Now you can see it's passing 60 knots, 80 knots, which is the soft speed. And when it gets close to 100 knots, I pull up on it usually. Then I'm in the trouble with it. It gears up. And once we got that going, engage autopilot. And we'll turn we'll pull the flaps back up. That'll keep it, it'll get it to speed up. See, now you have to watch this airspeed because you don't want it to go too fast. That other stick that's right here, that's the maximum speed you can go on it without having problems and situations develop. So you can see it's totally turned around. If we look out here, we'll probably see the runway. Yep, there it is over there. We're heading that way. Let's see, it's GPS down here. It shows you what how you're oriented toward the GPS navigation thing. Now what we want to do is we want to put it on the flight plan. I'm going to bring up flight plan real quick. See, 47 minutes and 37 seconds. Those are going past seconds, aren't they? It's got to catch up to where it's supposed to be or something like that. I don't know why it does that, but it does it sometimes. So let's go here, speed that. So it's about to merge with its flight path. And up. You can see we're accelerating up. We're up to 2,000 feet on altimeter here. 2,700, it's almost 3,000 as it is. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go back to flight plan. Then I just push that. Then I put it down to approach and I hit medium, activate leg, enter. That activates the leg and it'll adjust it slightly to get it back on track. And that's all you do. Okay, now we're on track. We're going that way. And you can see we're already over mountainous areas. We're gonna look here and see what we got. Yeah. There's mountains. Yeah, we're coming up and what we got. We'll be up at 8,000 by the time we get those mountains, probably. We're in flight plan. See, we're kind of, yeah, sometimes it doesn't really match up with the route that you're supposed to be going. That's why I have a little buffer room in there when I hit some higher things, because it's calculated on that specific path of the line. That's what you're cool. But if you're to the left or the right of it, you could be hitting a mountain that creens up or goes up or something like that. You have to kind of watch that too. So, yeah. But if you go out, it looks better. Yeah, so here's our top of climb, approximately. Looks like we'll hit it right over the route where it says to hit it. Where it's calculated to hit it, top of climb, and then we'll be, that should be, it'll be well before we get to any of these mountains over here. So we're good on that front. And here we are, flying high. See now, airspeed. Yeah, it looks like it locked in at 190, 180, excuse me, 180. It's not moving, so the climb. Now when it finishes the top climb, another point where you have to watch it. Because of course when it stops climbing, it's less air. And you get less when you get to the top of the climb. Now you notice our flight director here it says we're going to CF-27, which is the first approach beacon in there at Tijuana Airport. Usually CF is usually what it is, followed by the runway number, as I have it discovered. Yeah, when I first looked at these things, I was confused about what approach was and what the difference was between approach and I really don't know, but I know approach is the approach you're going the runway, and it helps me line up to the runway, so I know I can line up fine, I can see it, and then I can land, assuming it's a clear day. It's not a bad day so far. And this uses real weather. It's X-Plane, by the way. X-Plane instead of Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I have Linux on there, so I don't really use Microsoft Flight Simulator. It wouldn't work on this thing, but X-Plane does. And so that's what I use. And it so if we're at 7,500 feet now. Should have heard a little boop go off, I think. Probably went off. And it should be leveling off. You'll see it start to level off. This is the first speed indicator here. It's going down. You see now that we're getting close to 8,000. And the airspeed will start going up when that happens as well. If you don't stop it, it'll eventually end up over here and you have a problem. So let's I think 3 clicks of the button usually is enough to turn it down. So you notice now where my turbines are, right here, and stop. Now the thing about turbines on this thing is that you can click it and then it slowly goes down. See, it's slowly going down. So I have to make sure it's stabilized and stops at one point before I say it's okay and good, and I can not pay attention to it until I start to change something. I gotta start going down, and then it'll speed back up, or it'll do this, that, or the other thing. And especially when I'm landing, I have to watch it because I have to, you don't want to stall. And if I get too close to 80 knots of airspeed as I'm trying to go in, then I have problems. Yeah, so let's get a few views on here and see what we got. Alright, there we are. Looks like we're able to clear those mountains pretty good. We should be able to clear them now. We're at 8,000 feet. It should clear all the mountains that we got, and it looks like that's going to work just fine. Alright, now we have this other view, which is kind of a stationary view, which the plane flies by. It's kind of cool, isn't it? And it has a tower view, which you wouldn't see anything with looking from the tower, I don't think. So there we are from the tower where we took off at. Can't see anything there, of course. So that's interesting. Then we got yeah, you should use tower view like when you're landing and you see what the tower sees when you land. Okay, now I'm going to adjust the rudder a bit here because I see the ball is like over to the side a little bit. So I need to adjust the rudder tad to get it centered better. There you go. I may have adjusted a little too much. This thing's real sensitive. How you adjust it. Alright. Now, everything's looking good. IT looks good. I guess, because I really don't know what IT is exactly. So I couldn't tell you what it does and what it means, but it's about where it normally is, so that's good. So as RPMs, let's look at some of these gauges and take a peek at them and see what they do over here. Okay, there's your ITT. You can see the maximum is about 7. It's usually right around 6 or so. Which is there. There's torque. That's about cruising speed for me. Approximate torque. Cruising speed. It depends on the weather outside, because you're running into headwinds. Of course, you got problems in that regard. But I think we're in a tailwind right now. Well, no, we got a headwind. 8 knots of headwind. Or almost headwind, or pretty much headwind. So, got about 8 knots. So, it's wanting to push us over that way if we could. Yeah, I think when we took off this way, which now wouldn't be a good way to take off if you had this air. But I checked it and it was going the other direction. Almost the exact opposite of what it shows now. It's kind of funny when you think about it. So we got this flying along. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, even though it shows it's different, basically it's just wherever you tag it to activate the plan, because what it does activates it and it points it towards the exact same spot, so the two lines will eventually converge. If you watch them on there closer, like I brought it in closer where you can see the difference between the two. As you got closer to the CF, they would converge on each other. You have that action going on. So I'm not too worried about it being off. The only thing I'm worried about is if I run into a mountain peak or something. Which I don't expect to happen on this trip, but. So anyway, you got torque. It's at 800. And your props. Now, prop is if I understand this correctly, your prop is your degree of your prop. You can push your prop forward or backwards using one of these levers down here. Okay, I'm not. Need to back off a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. See, this is your power. This is your prop. And this is fuel, I guess. Something like that. You can cut off fuel and things of that nature. And this one that I use to power it up, so I leave the props going all the time usually. Now, if I knew what I'd done, I could take these props and bring them back a certain amount so that it's supposed to help reduce fuel cost stuff. You don't want to take it all the way to the feather when you're running though, because that'll just flatten them out, so they turns the props back and forth, so it flattens them out so they're not putting any thrust or movement behind you. I think it's more for when you have a thing where you have what I'm trying to say. It's when you have a air, you need to come back in because of a problem you're having or something like that. You can use feather to reduce the airspeed on it. Some of that, and I don't really understand it all anyway. That's what I understand about it pretty much. But I know the power is one that really gives the power to fly and stuff. Now, I messed with the props one time and I killed myself. One time I did kill myself and I couldn't even I put the props back up to the front and then fix the problem. It still was having the same problem. Well, so you got these reverse aileron tabs, and See our flaps are all the way up over here. But anyway, that's what that thing is over here. That's what the prop is for, and it sits at maximum the whole time, usually. Okay, then you got your turbine. It's around 90%. I think that's RPMs, rotations per minute. Here's your fuel flow. It's going about 200 pounds per hour, I think, is what it says. And then your oil pressure, which you can see that's in the green over here. And the temperature, I think, is this over here. It's right around 80%. That's in the green. As you can see. If you get too high, then your oil pressure is probably a problem. They're both at 80%. I mean about 80 degrees if this is temperature. Celsius. PSI pressure. So that's 100 and almost 190, 90 something. 80 to 90, something like that. So that's all good. It's all in the green. So we're getting closer to the mountains, aren't we? Get this thing out of the way. 79 miles left to go on this trip. 25 minutes left on it. Seems kind of high, but I guess it'll wear itself out. You know, move this so you can see the full breadth of the mountains and stuff. And you can see how they're flying along there. And yeah, it's pretty, isn't it? Even for flight simulators, kind of pretty. I mean, it's rugged mountains, there's sparse trees and stuff, but a lot more thicker trees in Papua New Guinea or a place like that. But this is kind of the Rockies look, I guess you'd call it. Something like that. This is the very, very beginning of the Rockies over here in Mexico. Of course, this is on South Baja, California, Mexico. So it's kind of not where the Rockies actually start, but I notice a lot of these islands that creep up here and stuff like this in the thing. They basically have a lot of they have more mountainous terrain over them. They're not so flat like some islands are. Islands can be fat or they can be mountainous. Most of them are mountainous because usually they're mountains sticking up out of the ocean, stuff like that. So most of them tend to be volcanoes and things of that nature. Like Hawaii's got a bunch of volcanoes on it. And let's see where we're at here. See, now we've flown over some high stuff already. We're about to fly over this high stuff. And then it'll sink back down as we go along until we get here, and then we gotta go down ourselves. Hopefully without hitting these mountains right down here. Yeah, this is, I don't know if that's 2% glide slope, 2.9 or something like that. But usually it's 3% glide slope is what they calculate, but it looks like it could be a lighter glide slope. So I usually, if I go down 1,000 feet per minute, when I got ground speed at 200, which is right now the ground speed's at 187 according to this thing. So when I have a 200, I go usually 1,000 feet will get me down to 3% glide slope. And I can adjust, of course, to go down because I can see, look on the map and see where I'm at on it. We gotta start thinking about what we're gonna do here. Yeah, so this is just rising ground more than it is mountainous ranges. I mean, there's a few mountains through here, but it's not so big a mountain. It's just the ground as a whole rises up, apparently. Looks like our airspeed's staying steady at about 165. And yeah, it's no clouds in the sky hardly, so that's good. Yeah, clouds can give you problems on this thing. They get turbulence and stuff like that. And if you have a lot of mountains, you get turbulence as well. But yeah, I mean, this thing should look like you're about to run into those mountains up there, but you aren't. By the time you get there, it'll be underneath the deal, underneath the airplane. So, matter of fact, I think we can take this power back up one notch, and we'll crack it up closer to 180. See what this says. 62 miles, 19 minutes. Be there in 20 minutes. Around 20 minutes or so, because you have to. This is just a countdown to this ending leg of the trip, which is right before you get to there and you have approach vectors. That's when that leg of the trip will come into play. I'm wondering now if we should have. Hopefully, the air. Well, I don't think he has a very big knot. I haven't noticed any big knot. Uh, 6 knots of air wind speed, so that's not too bad. A little heavy, but not that heavy. You can land with 6 knots of tailwind if you had to. Because I think we're going to be more crosswind than when we land. Looks like maybe 27 is the runway we should have picked up for this. Alright. Just look at this. So I always look at this because it gives me an idea of actually how high I am off the ground and how close I'm coming to the mountains and stuff. Things like that when I cross over. There's a few clouds over here on the coast, I guess it is. See a little mountain over there and stuff, little pounds here and there, but overall these don't look that big and huge mountainous. It's just the ground itself is coming up to meet me. Now let's see what I think, yeah, I think it's gonna be go underneath that. Now you see, I can see the mountain over here. See how it's lower here than it is there? That's what I'm talking about. I know I'm probably still slightly left track of that. So depending on how far, I have to watch it, make sure I clear this mountain over here. And it's not one of those situations where I think I'm going to clear, but I don't. Sometimes you can tell by getting this center line just right. You can look and see. It looks like I'm going to clear pretty easily, but you have this airplane It'll look bad when you're coming up to it usually. So anyway, it's pretty realistic, isn't it? The airplane controls and stuff, how to operate and those kind of things. Yeah, if you wanted to manually adjust the dial in this altitude, you can do it with this thing here. You turn this and adjust the altitude. You know, it's at 8,002. That's where the altitude's set. And now if you change the altitude, like say I don't want to right now because I'm about to go over these mountains overhead, but if I wanted to lower or go up in altitude, what you have to do is you have to come down here. You have to set your altitude to what you want it to be here, or if you have it like I do on the keyboard where you set certain keys are set to trigger certain actions, and you set it up that way. But yeah, so you set your altitude, then you go down here and first you have to turn off altitude because right now altitude is what's showing. Turn off altitude, then you hit the altitude select, then you hit the vertical speed indicator. Vertical speed, that's what it's called, vertical speed, yeah. And that will then plug in your vertical, how much you want to go, how fast you want to go up and down, and then it'll do it pretty much. But you have to turn off your altitude first, then you turn on the altitude select. The only thing. Yeah, it's usually about right around our cruising speed. If we go over here, we can look and see 200 knots exactly what we're on. I don't know why it tends to do that. It always tends to go faster on the ground speed. 200 knots per hour. I don't know why it always does that. On ground speed it seems like it always faster, even if you're in a headwind sometimes. There's been a time or two where I've had enough headwind where I knew what it is, but it's 180 knots here is 200 knots, so it's 20 knot difference. I think I had a 20 knot tailwind, so by any means. So I don't know why it does that, but anyway, that's what it says, so I accept it. It's the gospel truth. Unless it's screwy or something. 38. Now when this gets down to 20 miles away, you'll see it come on the screen. You'll see where the approaches and all that kind of stuff, and the runways pop down through here. And you'll see what's going to happen when we do that. That's exciting. Yeah, I kind of like doing it this way because I've had easier landings this way. Then I come in, I kind of come down to right approach, and then it turns me immediately, and then all I have to do is turn off the autopilot, turn off the air autopilot, and then I can, and usually once I see the runway, I'll turn off the autopilot, and then I'll just zoom in on I'll do my glide slope rest the way down manually. So that's what I'm waiting on, is for that to happen. But there's a few things we have to do before it gets to that stage of the game. So might as well start doing it now, I think. We're approaching our top of descent. And I need to prepare for that. I usually go down about 2,000 feet. 2,000, 3,000 feet on that first initial glide down. So what I'll do is I'll set the dial in the altimeter to be at 2,000. Oops. 2,000 feet. And when we get time, it'll be time to go down. I'll go down and I'll change the I'll set it up so it'll go down instead of up, or stay even. Yeah. And then we have to adjust our power level down because, of course, since you're going down, it'll pick up speed instead of going to pick up too much speed there, do you? Basically. And so you have to keep it going down. The speed, that is. I want to get speed down to around 160 now. I don't know if this is the right way to do this, but I'm not sure what the maximum speed you can be flying around with your landing gear sticking out. Usually jets have the maximum speed they can go before they can put out their gear. But I usually put mine out somewhere around 160 knots. That slows it down considerably. Whenever you put your gear out, that's one of the biggest drags I think on your plane that you can have gear sticking out, especially with the gear with the doors open and stuff like that. When you have doors open, like jets do and things like that. This is quite as bad as that, but yeah, then your airspeed will drop pretty considerably, and if you don't watch it, you can get in trouble with that and go into stalls and stuff. Don't want to go into a stall, no. So 24. Okay, I usually do this a little bit before top of descent. I think it's like saying I'm going to go down about let's see, 600 and something. I don't know exactly when I'm going to go down. So let's go down about 800 knots. We'll try that first and I'll see how it goes when we get there. When we get close to it. We're almost there. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go down now. And I want to make it easy, so I make sure I get over those hills up ahead, but I don't want to go down too fast. But let's see what I got out here. Okay. There's a road over to the right of us. Highway. And ignore that person. Yeah, I have these people like to gun it occasionally for some weird reason. They're around here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and initiate. By the time I initiate, I'll probably be ready to go down. Okay, so first take altimeter off. Then altimeter select. And BS. We're gonna go down, what I say, 100. Okay. 800. Now we look back at this. You see the 800 is not going to get us low enough fast enough. So we'll go down another notch or two. 900. Still is going to overshoot the runway a bit. Let's go down 1,000. And you see, what I'm looking at is this arrow that points, it tells where the thing still is a little high, but I think it'll work out good for this. Look at this over the, I'm going to go ahead and go down 11,000. There it goes. That should do the trick, I think. So now we go, oh, yeah, we gotta get our power back down. Yeah, see how it's almost up there. I did the no, I just tapped on it to speed it up. Okay, now it's gonna get down to 160. Okay. I think it's gonna go down from here. The blend is gonna go down. And by the time we get to this point, our vectors or different vectors are going to match up, so it's not so far off of each other, so I shouldn't have to worry about too much through here. Should be what it shows on there, on the map. Yeah. And our airspeed is hanging around, just around 190 knots, looks like. Yeah. And not get some airspeed up here, because I think I need to get some more, get it slower a bit more as we come into this area. We're at 5,000 feet. Just past 5,000 feet. Trying to get down to around 160 more. Oh wow. You see I'm about to hit the right hip here. The airport's zoom in. There's the airport over there. About to hit the CF-27, the FD-27, and then fly on into the airport right there. T1 airport. There's another airport over here, but these are on the American, the US side of the border. This is on the Tijuana side of the border. It's right on the border, it looks like, practically speaking. Anyway, now it'll activate here. See a little message come down here, and it'll give you a countdown. There it goes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and when it hits it now, it'll turn it. And we got it, yeah, so we're going to put our gear down. Watch the power on it, because I want to make sure we're not going too far into that. You can see the spell that creeps down. Okay, we got 1,000 more feet to go. Let's hold on to it. I'm going to give one more notch. Might boot it up a bit, but it'll be okay. Now let's go into the next phrase here. What I'd like to do now is pause it. And then I'm going to do go to the external view. I'm going to look to see where the airport's at. I can take this off too. I'll do this thing. I wonder if they have Trump's border wall on here or something. Probably not in California. Okay, so should be right over here somewhere where the airport's at. I don't quite see it yet. It's not quite in view or something. Well, let's look at this real quick. Yeah. That should be almost straight ahead for us. And then there. And if we need to hold or do a go around or something, we have to veer off this way instead of most of them have them going over here and looking back. That take into U.S. airspace, so they have it going this way. You come out here, you hold till you're ready to come in. Try it again. So we usually don't have too much trouble. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell distance. This is distance from to the FD-27. And BOR should. Well, apparently we need to get a little closer in because I can't tell. Can't see any runways yet. Well, I'll keep looking out here. It should be straight ahead of us, pretty much. Okay, now you have the opposite problem. Put power in when it comes out here. Okay. Now we're gonna look over here. I think I can see the airport now. Yeah, I think I see where the runway is at. And there it is right there. There's the end of the runway. So we need to line up with that. I think this is the runway we're going to land at. There's another airport over here somewhere that is also. It's on the US side of the border somewhere. Yeah, you can see the other airport over here on the US side of the border. And then word marks fence or something, I think, going through somewhere. I don't know if they show that or not. Anyway, this is where we're going to, I think. I think it is at least. It's one directly in front of us. Yeah, it's gotta be it. Just don't want to land in the wrong airport. Right? It's a big deal if I do, but I mean, be a major consequence of it is real life, not in the wrong airport. But here it's in this area, it's like, oh dear. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to get this out of the way so I don't have to look at this anymore. So I know where the runway's at. Now VOR, flight. And we'll start this back up. And I'll take it off autopilot. Now go down. I hope this is right. And watch your speed. and flaps. Yeah, I'm slower speed down even more, but you're also going down more. I'm just gonna watch it here. And I think it's close to 80. 80 is where stall speed is. You want to get down on the runway before it's stall speed. And here we are. Here we are in Tijuana, Mexico. Yay. Got to do my landing lights. I don't think they're on. I don't think I ever take them off. Or yeah, I did take them off, didn't I? I found a place to park. So I'm going to park a place I'm not supposed to park, I'm sure, but I think I'll park over here in this warehouse. Yeah. Here we are, airport. I'll have very big crew. But, there you go. We're being Tijuana, Mexico. Welcome to Tijuana, Mexico. Everybody depart from the aircraft and see you next time. We come back and do another trip on this trip around North America. And we should have some interesting things to show you later on when we get up in the ice and stuff like that. I don't know how cold it is. And
Are you here?
at this point. But anyway, bye.